my biggest piece of advice is just like get over yourself and do it. Because everyone, me included, anybody who has a lot of success right now, you don't start off that way. You start off with 0 follow. It's only the people who are going to keep going when they start and it sucks that are really going to see the results at the end. And let me just say this for anyone who's like thinking about social selling and LinkedIn. I think that there's an opportunity for anyone to build a brand that attracts business, to never have a cold lead again. You have to like face that fear and just like keep going. You have to be willing to look stupid, put in the reps when it's not fun. And if you can make it past that, typically 3 to 6 months of consistency on LinkedIn, you start seeing results. If you can just like keep that in mind, you keep doing it, you'll see the wins come.
Hey guys, Wally Olivieri. All right, so what is 24/7 mindset? Most times when you hear 24/7, you're thinking what? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just grinding, hustling. I learned over time, a 24-year career in mortgage and multiple other businesses that I own, is unfortunately, you'll get burnt out. I became an absent father. I became an absent husband, and I became a poor business leader because I was trying to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to build a business, maintain a business. When I learned how to work smarter, not just harder, by doing things the best way it could be done, instead of just simply doing my best, I learned how to work only 24 hours a week, 7 months a year, while I got paid from the business residually 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can do the same. Welcome to the show.
There we go. All right, we're actually live. So I need to say something quick before I mess this up because I'm being tested right now. So Dan Smokoska.
Nailed it.
All right, I've got a future. I thought I was about to go sit in the corner. All right. So what's super cool about Dan and I, all right, obviously you kind of know this is 24/7 mindset, and I'm known for mortgage lending. But when I look at a target out there or a resource out there in LinkedIn, and I realize like it's perfect platform for me simply because I think I'm a very boring guy. But I'm not like a TikTok dancer guy or any of that nature. But you look at like LinkedIn, and I made a social media post. This is how I met Dan. And I made a social media post, and I said, "Hey, who's like the baddest LinkedIn guy or girl out there, period?" And literally Dan. And like there was like 9 different people that jumped on there and said you. Yeah. And which was super cool. But I mean,
a big payroll.
So why do you feel that it was like unanimous that
I think so? Become known for something, right?
Yeah.
Right. So figure out what your niche is and who you like helping and how you like helping them, right? Okay. And so I've just done it for a long time, and then I talk about it, you know? So it's kind of been, under the social selling LinkedIn kind of banner, but it's really been this like goal of mine to help our industry specifically.
Yeah.
The loan officer, the recruiter, the mortgage executive be able to utilize a platform that can scale their message, their trust, all those things, and just come across in a completely different way than like we're traditionally doing.
Yeah.
And so it was incredibly successful for me. And so I got really excited about it and started telling other people about it, and then just kept learning and kept trying things. And so at some point switched over, and then I became the LinkedIn guy.
What I love so much about working with you is your commitment to your niche. There's not, there's so many people that I've seen that have had success in their lane, and then they jump over and hey, I'm going to start doing this too, or I'm going to start doing this also. And what I love about what you've been able to build is you're like the LinkedIn guy, go-to guy in mortgage.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's ever going to change for you, but how do you stay so disciplined in staying in that niche?
I mean, there's a reason that they say the riches are in the niches.
Yeah.
It's very hard to believe that when you don't have a niche.
Mm.
So when you're on the outside looking in, it feels like you're excluding 95% of potential customers. And that's where it becomes difficult. But once you really get in there and do it, like, first off, I don't want to work with anybody else, right? Like, I've been in the mortgage industry. I'm crazy enough to love it. I enjoy loan officers. I enjoy mortgage executives, like top to bottom. Like, I just love it.
Yeah.
And so that helps. Like, as you're trying to find something like a niche, like, I think that's a really important piece of it. You have to really love who you're working with and the problem that you're helping them solve.
Mm.
And so for me, it's just a no-brainer. I've been in the mortgage industry for a long time. I understand the pain points, understand how everyone communicates, and I have this perspective that somebody from the outside doesn't. And so I just enjoy it, and I don't like other industries, nor do I want to go out there and learn them.
Yeah.
And just stay with my people.
Have you ever read the book Positioning by Jack Reese?
I do not. I have not. I have it actually, but I have
it?
not read it.
Golly, man. I read that book in, I think it was 2012. And that was the year I was doing about $36 million in fundings. Next year I did 45 million. The year after that I did 81 million. So in 24 months, going from $36 million in fundings to $81 million in fundings. And then the following year broke 100 million. And I say that because I learned to build a niche in the mortgage origination space. And I started learning how to be the best realtor I could be out there in the market. Like, if you're a loan officer, why do you care about being the best realtor out there? Well, if I can learn, if I'm getting business from realtors and wanting to get business from realtors, if I can go learn how to market as a realtor, convert as a realtor, door knock as a realtor, and learn the best strategies for open houses as a realtor. Once I learned, the guy started to get coached by a top real estate agent coach, Pat Mancuso, and he coached me for almost about a year and a half. It was such a blessing what I learned from positioning and niching, because it put me in. I created a niche. I was a loan officer that coached realtors. I was a loan officer that helped realtors increase their production. I was a loan officer that helped realtors scale their business. And all they had to do in return is refer me a mortgage business.
Yeah.
It's no brainer, right?
Yeah.
But you look at that, it's like when I see so many loan officers struggling, they've not built that engine of building that niche. So for the audience out there that is still doing 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 closings a month, and they're trying to get to 5 or 10 or 15, would you advise they niche and zone in, or they still be that laser, or still go after try to be the shotgun?
That's a great question. I'd just say come over here to Aspire. Honestly, that's not paid endorsement either. That's I think when you match niche with systems, it's really powerful.
Ooh, that has to be a soundbite. That has to be real. When you say that again, you got to say.
I think when you match a niche with systems, the sky's the limit. You can. The success trajectory is unmatched if you do that.
What's the key to that? What's don't screw this part up.
Yeah, I mean, so I think part of it is nothing that you're doing right now. Like, somebody who's trying to get into this or figure out how to increase their business or find a niche, nothing's in stone.
Yeah. All
right. So everybody should just chill out and realize that finding that, I tell people this all the time, finding your ideal customer, whether that be the realtor or whether that be a borrower type, or that's not an easy job to do unless you have unless you know that maybe you're a veteran and you serve, veterans, and it's a very clear niche for you. I know LOs who are investment home, basically only investor type deals. And then I know, some people who are custom home build lenders, and they're the best at it. And so it's really just trying to figure out, do you have any kind of common themes you see in the loans that are currently coming in? And then what would be the most, again, asking the question, who do I enjoy working with the most?
Yeah. And
then what do I love helping them do? So your thing was all right, I'm going to give as much value as possible to realtors. I mean, that a realtor is going to love that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And you're going to help them grow their business. So, I mean, it's just thinking through who that audience is you want to serve, and then being able to make the transition of like, how can I give them the most value? So for me, it's the mortgage industry.
Yeah.
It's revenue producing like salespeople in the mortgage industry. It's not just LOs. It's sales teams at mortgage tech companies. It's, all of the industry. But they have to be like either a mortgage company or serving a mortgage company, right? So and it's pretty clear. You get to my LinkedIn, I talk mortgage. I say I'm here for the mortgage industry, mortgage pros. Software is built for mortgage only. It's all focused on the loan officer or the mortgage salesperson or whoever, even the leadership, and how they can help fill pipeline and drive revenue. And so if you're jumping on as a insurance person, you're going to leave my page right away. And in fact, that's what I want you to do. I want all the other industries to turn around and like walk out.
Yeah.
Because if you land on my page and you're in the mortgage industry, you're going to be like, he's speaking directly to me. And that's why that narrow message is so powerful, because you're really solving a real problem. And then I would say the systems piece, like that helps you scale. So if you're able to figure out what works and really kind of like nail down how to do it efficiently, effectively, fine tune it, keep getting better and better and better and better. It's really I know this, it's an unlock.
Yeah. I just see the best producing loan officers have learned to reduplicate their success through systems.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all absolutely just addicted, like insane asylum addicted to stop doing the best we can do and start doing it the best way it can be done. When you can learn mortgage and you can learn the best way it can be done, which is the most profitable way, the easiest way, the finish line, the smoothest way, the best experience, and you keep focusing on doing it the best way it can be done, it's so easy to close hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And I say that, and I'll say that again. It's easier to close $200 million of production than it is $20 million of production. And it's so crazy when you see those Instagram reels of like billionaires saying, hey, it's easier to make $1 billion. It's easier to make your first $1 billion than it is making your first $1 million. And I tell so many loan officers, I coach so many loan officers, it's easier to do $100 million of production than it is to do 10 million, for the simple fact of you can learn the trait of the best way it can be done and building those systems. It's so much easier.
Yeah. I think if loan officers can really see that and know what that looks like, and which is one of the reasons I love what you've built and what you're doing. A lot of people can come up here and say stuff, right? Like, here's how you make whatever amount of money. You've done it.
Yeah.
But you haven't done it like, you've done it the right way, and exactly what you're saying. You've built systems to help you get to the next level each time. And so now you show other people how to build those systems as well. And when you, like, I've been around so many loan officers, I've coached tons of them, all the way from like rookie LOs to like top 1% to like, mortgage CEOs have come. I've been around a lot of people, and very few have the systems in place to be able to produce, the amount that they would like to.
Yeah.
But the ones that I've seen that are the most successful are those.
Yeah.
The ones that have built the systems.
Well, I just think in business as a loan officer, there's this like super big misconception. Like, you've got to sacrifice your family. You've got to sacrifice your mental health for the sake of money. And you probably do if you don't have systems.
Yep.
You probably do if you're just trying to do the best you can do. For so many years, I banged my head against the wall of doing 20, 30 million a year, because I'd missed so many dinners and missed so many family activities and missed so many sporting activities with my kids, because I was doing the best I can do. And when you can learn doing it the best way it can be done through systems, golly, dude. You start taking 5 weeks of vacation a year, 15 weeks of vacation a year, 20 weeks of vacation a year, and you write a book about it.
Yeah.
And then you live it. And then okay, so if I can do this, okay, can I teach other loan officers to do this? And I kept on asking myself, I'm not a unicorn. What's making me look so special out there? And you realize it's like the daily habits. It's the processes that I built. It's the templates that I built. It's the scripts that I built. Okay, can you make that into a manual? Can you make that into a workbook? Can you make that into a course? Okay, can you hire coaches to teach that? And as we evolved and grew with 24/7 mindset, 3,100 loan officers graduated in 2024. Like that's just bananas to me to think that.
Awesome.
And just hear the success stories. And I love hearing the success stories, not about how much more money they're making, not about how much more production they're closing, but specifically about how much more time they're taking off. How many more dinners they're making. And I just feel like I can't speak for a woman, but I can speak for a man. My perspective as a man, we all have this martyr mentality that we've got to sacrifice ourselves for our wife and kids. And again, I can't speak for a woman because I'm not one, but it's through systems and through processes. You don't have to be a martyr. You don't have to sacrifice your mental health to just close more loans.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing in startup culture, right? It's just, it's all over the place. The thing is that like usually very good salespeople or very high producing employees, whatever, they're really good. And so they can do a lot of really good things. But there's a point that you can't do anymore because you're one person and you don't have those systems in place. And so I think it's such a, I think so many people are not talking or don't understand the difference. They're just like hustling. And they're just like trying. And they do get some success from it, but like, what could life look like? And I think when the reason again, like your story is such a cool story to me is that like you lived both sides, but you had the problem that you realized because of your son, right? Coming up and into the story of him being surprised you were going on a trip. And that was like the light bulb moment for you that, hey, something has to change. And then you committed to it. And so the other thing I want to say is that like in the mortgage industry, I think, and this might be sales in general, honestly, because there's this like, if you think about kind of like where sales people stack, you got your terrible ones that will get let go. All right. All talk and no closing. And then you have this like this middle section kind of where most people are in and they're producing fine. They're making good money for themselves. Range, of course. But then you have this little sliver of top people. And what I've noticed with the top is yes, the systems, a lot of times, yes, a niche. But it's this middle mentality. They don't think they need coaching. They don't think that they need somebody else to come in and like help them or that they can figure it out all on their own. And it's a lot. It's wild to me because like, if you think about the top % of athletes, like Michael Jordan had a coach, multiple coaches. Tiger Woods,
multiple coaches.
I mean, like it's unreal to when you think about like, of course they do. I mean, we should, and that's what I like about you and some of the others that are the top in the industry, is that you guys seek that stuff out, and you seek out the books to learn from, and then you even take it a step further and go reach out to the authors of the books and learn even more. Like I mean, that is the way that real success, like not just monetary, but like life. That's how it's built, with people helping.
Well, it's neat about this. So let's elaborate on that. It's so with your help, I made that LinkedIn post about how I read books. And so let's unpack that for a minute. So I'm ADHD, I'm dyslexic, and I have dysgraphia. Oh, and also on top of that, English is my second language. I wasn't even born in the US. So for me to be able to digest data, I have to listen to the audiobook and I have to follow along my finger. Now I've learned to study books instead of read books. So when I follow along my finger, I pause it multiple times, but I've got a notepad to the right every morning, and I'm going through, okay, the line down the middle on the left-hand side are ahas, things that I've learned from it. On the right-hand side, there are things that I want to implement, right? And after I could complete reading the book fully, and the new one, oh my God, the Alex Hermosi one with $100 million models.
The one he just,
the one he just did. I'm like, I think I went through like 2 pins. There was just so many notes, and we're going to Vegas here in a couple of weeks to go see him. But I'm sitting there and I'm mapping this out of what I want to implement. The key of this, here's the icing on the cake of it. The key of this is grabbing 3 highlighters: a red, a yellow, and a green. Green highlight is what I want to accomplish implement wise in the next 30 days. Yellow is what I want to accomplish and implement in the next 60 days. Red is what I want to accomplish and implement in the next 90 days. I put both those together. So the roadmap of the next 90 days, what I want to implement, and the ahas that I learned from the book, and then simply just reach out to the author. 35-40% of the time, authors don't respond back, or they say, hey, yeah, I'm not interested, or whatever the case is. But I'd say good 50-60% of the time, the Robert Herjavec's that responded back, the Gary V's that responded back, the Eric Thomas, hip hop preacher, that responded back, and like getting Dan Hardy's responded back, Tom Ferry, all these big names that we all follow on social responded back because I studied their book, and then I showed them my long math of how much I cared about their craft and what they taught. And they actually gave me time on a Zoom or a coffee or in person. And I learned so much from these mentors.
Yeah.
And I think if the number one common thread that I see in all the top producing loan officers out there, top producing salespeople, is we all walk into every room, and who can we impact, but most importantly, who can impact us? What can we learn from them?
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting. I was on, and I won't say the name, but I was on a coaching call with a loan officer the other day, and he was like, "Oh, I want to know more about your coaching." And we jumped on the phone, and I did 19 million last year. And I said, "Okay, that's awesome. It's great. What are your goals?" And I'm like, "No." He goes, "Oh, I'm really happy with my production. Top loan officer in my branch." Okay. Are you the top loan officer in your company? Are you the top loan officer in your city? Are you the top loan officer in your state? No. Okay. Well, what do you want to do? And he goes, I love what I do, making a ton of more money I ever thought of. And then he goes, I read your book, but I don't think your production's real. I said, okay, well, why do you feel that? And it's always funny when you meet people and they just try to unpack how fake you are.
Yeah.
And I said, so do you think I hacked in a Redder and changed my production?
Right,
Do you think I hacked in an MMI and changed my all those years, all those awards, all those Scotsman guides, and so on, and all that production, all that income? You think that's fake? And goes, no, but you use other people to do more business. And I said, and he was very proud of himself that he doesn't have a loan officer assistant, and he does it all himself, and he self-processes his loans.
Yes.
And my response back to him, I said, how's that working for you? Do you feel you're the best processor out there? Do you feel you're the best loan officer assistant out there? And by the end of the conversation, he ended up signing up for coaching, which I was very happy about. But most importantly, there's a ego side of salespeople that we all want to be the best at everything. And I bring that back to what you said earlier about your niche. And that's number one thing I definitely would want to encourage loan officers out there, or salespeople in general. It's you've got to figure out what your niche is, but what your niche is that mirrors and matches your personality, behavioral style.
Right.
I love to teach.
Yeah.
Okay. So my niche became me coaching and teaching realtors how to be better realtors. If it was something about social, I would suck at that niche.
Yeah.
Right. If it was about LinkedIn, I would suck at that niche.
Right.
And you've got to figure out what you love to do, then learn to monetize it in a niche.
Yeah. I mean, it's powerful. And that's why those stories of there's a lot of people just don't believe anything anyone says, because there's so many coaches out there. There's so many leaders out there who BS the stuff.
Yeah.
But the cool part is that our industry rewards those people and gives data on the people who are actually producing. And so it's easy to find that it's legitimate. But the ability to be able to teach, the ability to like be open to learn from someone, I mean, it's an absolute game changer. And just not being, really what it boils down to is not being afraid to like put yourself out there and to either fail or to look stupid.
Yeah.
Right. It's pride that's keeping all of us from coaching. It's pride from reaching out and trying to get help from someone. They think it's weakness, whatever it is. And like, but you got to say the best people in the world at whatever they do.
Yeah.
They put themselves out there all the time, right? They're in the arena, they're the ones who are asking questions and getting coached. And so like, it's a game changer.
Well, also I think a common thread is curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all, I mean, my favorite book of all time is Curious George.
Mm-hmm.
The yellow book about a monkey as a little kid. And you realize that and you look at that and it's like, super successful people, the Henry Fords, the Thomas Edisons, were curious. The Steve Jobs, they were curious how things worked.
Mm-hmm.
They were curious how things built. As a kid, I was always, I don't know, it was a weird fascination, I guess. I would always take apart a toaster and see if I can put it back together. And unfortunately, I was very unsuccessful many times. I'm trying to put the toaster back together. But I was always curious about how things worked.
Right.
And when you meet a top producing salesperson, like it's interesting when I go meet, even at my level of success, I go meet a top producer. I go and I ask questions and I shut up.
Mm-hmm.
I literally talk maybe about 10-15% of the time, and I'm there to learn from them.
Yeah.
And it's funny sometimes when a mentee will come in my world and ask me to lunch, and I'll say yes, and they get to lunch and they talk like 90% of the time. And it's like in the last 10 minutes of the lunch, you're like, well, tell me about you. I'm like, do you really care?
Yeah.
Because you've just spent the last hour and a half telling me how great you are.
Right.
It's just funny though. Like who's mentored you to get to where you are? Like who do you?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So I read a lot. Okay. So that's one way that I get better. I from a LinkedIn perspective, right? Like it's just a lot of like trial, error, testing. There's a lot of really like smart creators that are on there already that have like, a couple of years ahead of me or whatever. And so you kind of like be able to consume some of that from them, which I think like platforms like, Twitter and Threads and LinkedIn are really good because there's so many people giving value. And so you can actually learn without having a direct conversation. So I think those platforms are just like absolutely just gold mines just on that end too. But yeah, I mean, I have some trusted people in my life who have been successful in business. And so from a business perspective, definitely lean on them. And, every chance I get to go to a conference and get better or go to a mastermind or whatever it is, or the really great thing is that I get to sit on a lot of calls and talk to people like you who and others who've had different experiences, but like success. And every time I get on those calls, it'll be like, an hour call or whatever. Yeah. I learned so much, like just hearing how they do it. Yeah. I'm just asking questions, right? Like what was your mindset here? Like it's always get a little deeper.
Yeah.
Like ask the question and then you might get the answer, but like really like figure out like, what are they really saying? How did they get there? Because they're skipping over a bunch of good stuff. Mm-hmm. And what a lot of people don't realize, which you do, I'm sure, is that you don't start off successful.
No.
You don't just like become a loan officer or become a business owner or whatever it is you do, and you're the top, but nobody sees how you got there.
Yeah.
So it's really easy for us to think that, this guy's special, this woman's lucky, whatever it is. And reality is they put a ton of work into it. And then a lot of times they worked on the business too, so that the business could work for them down the road. And so, yeah, it's kind of a mixture of all those for me. Yeah.
I mean, I think also the amount of, I don't know what retirement looks like for top achievers. And the reason I say that, I can't remember, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they were like, why do you do this? I'm like, what do I do? What? And they said, what, you've got more money, to do with, you've got more success, more this, more that. And I'm like, well, I definitely don't have more money, know what to do with this, first of all. But then you look at it like, and my response was, I've read a book a week, I studied a book a week since 2012.
Yeah.
And digest that for a minute. And that formed me, that shaped me, that made me into who I am to be able to have this level of success. Like, how do you turn that off?
Yeah.
Like, how do you turn that engine off?
Right.
Like, you built a V16 engine and you're sitting there like, okay, well, now I'm just going to turn off the car. Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
So when you were saying that, I'm like, I was telling my wife this morning, I'm on the next, or now we're empty nesters and married 20 years, and both our boys off to college, and it is this next chapter in our life. And I said, I feel like the next 20 years of my life is going to be 100% focused on me.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, where does that leave me? I'm like, I mean, you're with me, but meaning as like, I think when you're a father and you're a husband and you're trying to build a business, like, you make it about so many other people.
Yeah.
It's so much about your kids. It's so much about your spouse. It's so much about your employees. It's so much about your referral partners, your teammates, so on and so on. And I think my feeling for this next chapter of my life is I get so much joy of watching other people implement what I've taught them, because that proves that I'm not a unicorn. Yeah. It proves that I'm not special. It proves that I'm reduplicatable.
Yeah.
Because all it is system.
Yeah.
And you're mirroring and matching that.
Yeah. I mean, if you can believe that as somebody in sales, and you can say, hey, there's a path.
Yeah.
That is like, you put in the work on building the systems, the right systems, which is like trial and error and testing and keeping, consistent and making that a priority, then sky's the limit. Opportunities will be there for a long time. But I'm with you, man. I don't like, there's really, I can't even imagine retiring. I
mean, we both golf and we both love to golf, but I'd be bored out of my mind if I just golfed all day, every day.
For like sure. 100%. 100%. Well, definitely let's golf, but like, let's also like building stuff, seeing people succeed and win. Like, I mean, like I wake up every day and I have the best job ever. Like, I don't even feel like it's a job. Like, it just, and when I first started, it really wasn't a job. I wasn't getting paid anything. Right. I'm like just doing this thing and like putting all the money back into the company, and
been there, done that.
And so it really wasn't even a job at the beginning, but you're passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
And you love what you do, and people see that. Right. But life's too short, man, to just to sit there and not have time with your family, not enjoy life, be stressed out all the time. And the really the recipe is like, okay, get systems in place.
It's a funny squirrel moment. I just got to share this story. So both my boys are in college. I've got Braden's a sophomore at Arkansas, and Alexander is a freshman at Baylor. And when he talked about entrepreneurship a minute ago and starting a business and starting off and not making no money, well, these two freaking yahoos, they both put on their college applications that my dad is in mortgage, but he works for a startup, so he's a nonprofit. And every time I come home, Dad, what'd you make this month? Or what'd you make? I'm like, dude, it's a startup. Like, I lost 80 grand. I lost 30 grand. I'm down this much for the year. So they put on their college applications. Like, their dad works for a nonprofit. I just started laughing when I read it. But they both got scholarship money.
Yeah,
so I'm like, okay,
man. There you go.
Your dad's,
I like it.
Yeah,
they're thinking the right way. Yeah,
yeah. I built it that gives them financial upside, but also financial accountability.
Yeah.
So most people, did your parents pay for college?
Yeah.
Okay, good for you. Your parents are much nicer than I am. So I told them, I said, hey, I'll pay for college, but you've got accountability with it. And I said, if you get A's and B's, you're going to get student loans. So their senior year in high school, I made sure they got a credit card in their name. I made sure they got a car loan in their name, and I made the payments on them. But then they had like high credit scores. So when they went to college, I made sure they got student loans for all the debt. You give me A's and B's, I pay off your student loans. You give me C's and D's, guess what? I hope you enjoyed partying the semester, and right? And you walk away with student loan debt when you graduate.
Yeah.
You get on the dean's list, boom, $5,000 bonus.
Yeah.
You get on there's another list or something, there's like a $2,000 bonus.
It's a good motivator.
And it's interesting to see high school days with two sons that I'm like, dude, you got to do your homework. Dude, you got to do your homework. Dude, you got to do your homework. To where now I'm like, hey guys, do you guys want to go? Or I was talking to my older son the other day. Why don't you come in town? We'll go play golf. He goes, Dad, I got this class and this going on, and I've got to make sure I pass this. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, good, good.
Yep, it's something right there.
It is, but also then I took it a step further, and my youngest son, the oldest son, did the same thing. They both got scholarship money, and I said, hey, whatever dollar you save me, I'll give you 50 cents of it. Mm-hmm. So they were both like these bangies about writing scholarship money. I mean, my youngest son got like $40,000 worth of scholarships, so he gets 20 grand put in the savings account every year. The older son was like $16,000 in scholarships. Dude gets 8 grand put in. So and that's where I encourage parents out there, if you want to pay for your kids' college, fine, do that, but create financial accountability around it.
Yeah.
If not, what I did not want to happen is them just go out there and just party their tails off for 4 years.
Yeah. Exactly. But like, this is the cool, like, this is just a conversation we're having, but like at the same time, like anybody listening too, like, this is why conversations are so valuable, because like now I just have ideas I never thought of for like when my kids go to college on how to like incentivize them, right? Yeah. Like it's these conversations that we can just have here where like you have a way of doing things, I have a way of doing things, and when we come together and we talk about it, we both learn something. And that's why I love books. Yeah. Because I mean, there could be like 70% of the book that's like terrible. Yeah. But then you get that one nugget, or you get those few nuggets that just like light bulbs change business. Yeah. I mean, that's the fun part. So, do
you know who Brandon Kane is? He wrote the book $100 million. I'm sorry, 1 million followers in 30 days.
Nope.
I actually talked to him yesterday afternoon. He's an author. He went out there and had 0 followers on, like, say, Instagram, and he got on Instagram and he grew his reach to 1 million followers within 30 days. And I was having a conversation with him yesterday. I was reach out to him as an author, and that was like the number one thing he said was he got his models and systems from his social media reach from going and interviewing other big producers like that.
Okay, that's what people really miss out on, is like, so when we talk about LinkedIn, right? Yeah, that's part of what we're trying to tap into. There's not just like, there's like these categories of who your ideal customer is. Okay. Like you want to be able to like connect with them, engage with them, build a relationship with them. But then there's these other categories of like peers in your industry. And then there's like thought leaders, influencers, whatever you want to call them. Yeah. And those are just like you're saying, these are the ones that have a huge platform that the people in your industry, or the people in the industry of who you're trying to target, whatever that is, they're known, they're valued, they're trusted. And if you're able to show up with them in some way, either in their comments, build a relationship through the DMs, somehow get on a phone call with them and, record a podcast or interview them, something, that's really what shoots your credibility and your trust. And honestly, the success metric to increase significantly when you have those things. So that's powerful.
So one thing that you've helped me a ton with, and I'm not like talking bad about myself, but I know what I'm really great at. And what I'm really great at makes me kind of boring because I'm really analytical, which is systems. If you're talking to any loan officer, to be a really great loan officer, you've got to be kind of boring because you kind of do the same thing on every single file. Yeah. And for you talk to us to that loan officer that is really great at systems and building their business, but if they get on LinkedIn, how do you make them fun like you've made me fun on LinkedIn?
Listen, here's what people don't. Here's like one of the biggest things that people don't realize. Like, you might not think you're fun. You might think you're boring,
100%.
but the reality is you're not. Okay, so and 99% of people would fall into that.
Okay.
All right, so let's look at you as an example. You golf.
Yeah.
You golf at some pretty nice golf courses.
The pictures I sent you this morning was from Pine Valley.
I mean, and then you're like showing like, I mean, like you're getting better and better and better, and like you're out there with your kids. Like, so you have this element where you're doing something, you're working on it, you're getting better.
Okay.
You're on cool courses. That's not boring, right? You're playing golf with your kids, and they're getting better. And so like people can see the journey of like you being a father, and like now they're out of the house, and like so right there, that's big, right? Because like if you think of golfing, there's a whole group of people that would instantly connect with you, right? That's what we're looking for, connection.
Okay.
Even if you build Legos, I mean, somebody's gonna, be into that. But like continuing on with you, the analytical, the systems thing, like that might sound boring on paper, but when you're showing how to do those systems, you're showing somebody how to like set up their business to make more money, to make life smoother and easier and more time with their family. That's not boring. Like you share the systems, people love that. Talk about the post where you say, like, literally, we just talked about how you read a book. I would say that's different than most everyone.
Yeah. And
you've done that to a point to where you've consumed really good books and you didn't just forget it.
No.
You studied it. And like those little nuggets there are like huge. And so instead of just being like, I'm gonna go post whatever automated thing my company does.
Yeah.
That's not you. That's nobody. That's your marketing team, and it's everybody knows it. But I just say always look for opportunities to like create content. Like right now you're on a podcast. That's not boring, right? Like, I mean, we're doing something that a lot of people aren't doing right now.
Yeah.
We're talking and we're, giving insights from our own experiences to people who might benefit from them. And then you're going to go into your office and you're going to, run a mortgage company. That's not boring, right? Like these are all things. And so I think for a lot of us, we don't realize how much value we actually have to whoever our audience is, and how much they really do just want to see an authentic person.
It was I kind of wussed out. So full transparency. I wish I would have done this looking back. And transitioning from being a loan officer to being a top producing loan officer, I showed that journey on social.
Mm-hmm.
But the transition from being a top producing loan officer to a CEO or a president of a mortgage company or a CEO or president of a mortgage coaching platform, I didn't show that on social.
Yeah.
There was so many things I did so poorly. There's so many mistakes. I'm like, I almost felt embarrassed to show it. But when I look back now, it would have really humanized me so much. It would have. So if anybody else is listening to this, help them understand why it's so important to document on LinkedIn or on social your journey, and not just your destination of your success.
Everyone has wins on social, so you don't stand out, right? You don't stand out. The goal on social is to stand out. Like, let's just LinkedIn. Everybody looks the same. Everybody sounds the same. And so if everyone sounds and looks the same, then nobody really stands out as you're scrolling down the feed, right? And so when you're able to stand out, that's when things start really clicking for you, and you get more views, you get more engagement, you get more likes and trust and all the things. So the way to do that, there's a number of ways to do that, but like being authentic in your wins and losses is huge, because it's every single person can identify with losses, whether they want to admit it or not. We all have them. And you can look back on your losses and share your losses from previous, or you can be like, just talk about how, whatever you thought was going to happen didn't happen quite the way you thought it was. And it was a lot tougher and it was a lot more challenging. But here's what I learned from it. Those are all things that make you a human And that's really what we're trying to do. Like, you're trying to be this real person, this human, this like that has good days and bad days, and has family and has friends and has like, tough times and good times. You show that, you stand out like top 1% of LinkedIn.
And it's also like super funny how that works. I look back at, the posts that I've made that I've had like hundreds of likes or shares or comments, and it's like really went viral, if you want to call it that, with ones of like, hey, this is why I gave up alcohol.
Yeah.
The ones that are, hey, I was doing 100 days in a row, 10,000 steps in a day, and it's like day 28, and I slept in, and I dropped the ball today, and I got to start over, and like that had like 321 likes and like 70 comments.
Yeah,
and
everybody had a day 28.
Yeah, everybody would relate to that, and like there's so many other things. I made a post of me getting pulled over and getting a speeding ticket, and that like it was comments galore. And
life.
It's just life, but also understanding that what you just said is really profound. The goal of social is to stand out. And I think the big mistake that I've made on social, or so many other people make on social, is they just simply try to make it a highlight reel.
Yeah.
And a highlight reel does not translate to being different.
Right.
And when you're different, you're better. Another really successsul post that I made was me trying to learn how to wake surf. Like that was a disaster and a half.
Yeah.
I think it was I don't know, 11, 12 tries. And I finally got up for like 10 seconds and fell
harder
down.
than it looks. Right?
It's so much harder than it looks. But yeah, so when you look at that, what would you say to encourage others to make social posts or LinkedIn posts, not only about their wins, but mostly about their losses?
My advice is a little different. I let me give you the here's where you can post.
Yeah.
Think about things that are going on in your day. I drink every morning. I wake up in between 3:30 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. without an alarm. Just when I wake up. I go to bed early too, so I get my phone up for that as well. But so I get up and I make a pot of Folgers coffee.
Okay.
And I drink that thing black, nothing else in it. And I'll say that people know me. I got tagged yesterday from someone that they were like, I'm having a pot of coffee this morning. I'm glad it's not Folgers, Dan Smokoska. And but that becomes like this little piece of who I am and my personality. Now, what I like to do is I like people to say all of those things and make, get on their high horse and talk about how bad Folgers is. But then I'll share the story of when I was a kid, I'd go over spend the night at my grandparents' house. My grandpa had Folgers in a tin can, and he used to show me how to make it. And then back then we'd do all this milk and sugar and make it. But that's the memory. Every time I smell it, every time I make it, I think him. And he was such a big part of my life, right? And then they feel bad for making fun of me, which is great. But that opens a door to who I am as a person, right? So think of the things that you do throughout the day, and just kind of have different eyes. Here's something that happened to me, or here's a question that I was asked by a borrower, or here's a problem that an agent had. Hey, does anybody else have the same problem? There's just endless ideas. If you just start training your brain. But my real advice is once you have those guidelines up and you kind of know all right, I could post about this or that. And it doesn't have to be a perfect picture. In fact, it shouldn't be. It should be more of a real picture. But my biggest piece of advice is just get over yourself and do it. That's the biggest.
Yeah.
Nike, just do it.
Yeah.
Because everyone, me included, anybody who has a lot of success right now, you don't start off that way. You start off with 0 followers. And it's only the people who are going to keep going when they start and it sucks that are really going to see the results at the end. And let me just say this for anyone who's like thinking about social selling in LinkedIn. A lot of people say like I'm a social media guy, and I tell them I'm not. Like I actually really don't like social media, but I am a social selling guy. Yeah. I think that there's an opportunity for anyone to build a brand that attracts business, to have the ability to like never have a cold lead again, and to have trust at scale and all these things. But you have to get through. You have to like face that fear and just like keep going. And you have to be willing to look stupid. And you have to be willing to like put in the reps when it's not fun. And if you can make it past that, typically 3 to 6 months of consistency on LinkedIn, you start seeing results. If you can just like keep that in mind, I promise it's like you keep doing it. Yeah. You'll see the wins come.
You know who Renee Rodriguez is?
Yeah.
Awesome. Renee. I love Renee. So I remember he came spoke at a 24/7 Mindset Live event. This is like early 2020. No, this was end of 23. I think it might have been the September of 23. The book had just come out. And we just released the Client Concierge course. Mm-hmm. And I'm just learning how to sell on webinars. And that launch, literally that 2-hour webinar, generated like $84,000 in revenue. And I remember seeing him the next day. I'm like, dude, look at this. Look at his bank account. I was like, this is one launch generated, $80,000, $84,000. And I said, I have no idea how I did this. And he goes, yes, you do. And he starts to talk to me about it. And he goes, let me tell you something. You know the secret of success, Wally? And I go, what, Renee? He goes, none of us know what the hell we're doing.
100%.
None of us know. And none of us knowing what the hell but we get up every morning and we try and try again. And I'm like, that needs to be a damn book.
It does.
That has to be the title. None of us know what the hell
None of us know. Yeah. And you never think that's the case.
Yeah. I mean, you look at a speaker, you look at an author, you look at somebody on stage at a conference, you're like, dude, they've got it all together. Yeah. And they'll be the really successful ones, the really authentic, successful ones will tell you they have no idea what the hell they're doing, but they keep trying every day.
Yep. Put in the reps.
Yeah.
Get in the game. At bats. You know what I mean? Like, don't be afraid of the game. Get in the game.
Yeah.
You're not gonna hit a home run. You're not gonna hit a base hit. You're not gonna get on base if you're not in the batter's box.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, I think, between a lot of people is that they're afraid to get in the box and play the game.
So when you look at a lot of you've had some really big names come through your cohort. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I finally learned what that word meant. So the cohort that you have, and you don't need to say names unless you want to, when they go through it, like what should their expectations be? Like what's been some of the successes you've seen?
Yeah, so we do like a month cohort where it's like we do every Tuesday evening or Wednesday evening. It's different every month, but we'll do like an hour and a half-ish of like social selling, LinkedIn, like focused, like here's how you do it. And it's different for everyone on what they can expect. So I usually never give like, here is what you can expect by the end of this, because everyone, we usually do like 30 to 40 at a time. Okay. Yeah. So it's really cool because they get like this, like everybody becomes friends and like, it's just you become known in the industry. You literally go to conferences, and cohort from November's doing a dinner, and then the cohort from, October's doing something else. And so like, this is really cool, like community that's been built. But as far as the, like those cohorts and who's been in it and who is successful, it's the ones who do the most and like actually implement the things. So what I've seen is that, and we've had like CEOs of mortgage companies go through here. We've had like founders of tech companies. We've like loan officers who are just starting, top loan officers who've been in the business for a long time, like everyone you can think of.